Chief Executive of SERC, and I'd like to welcome you here to the very exciting finals of the SERC Enterprise Fortnight. So 2 weeks later, 4,000 students have participated in 600 odd projects and have competed against each other, have been judged by 64 judges, and have received the support of staff across the colleges. And this leads us to this very exciting finals. It's a great opportunity for students who are joining the college for the first time to have got to know one another. It has been absolutely marvellous going round and seeing the projects, to see the amount of talent and enthusiasm that is actually portrayed, and to see how, in particular, could I thank the Enterprise team themselves, who have really brought this to a very, very successful conclusion. And finally, I want to thank all of the students who have participated, not just those who are here in the finals projects, the students on those 600 projects, the 4,000 students themselves. Can I thank you too as well for your participation and enthusiasm. So without further ado, we're going to move forward with the proceedings, and I'd like to ask Natasha to step forward to kick off the finals. Thank you.
Would like to recognise 2 teams who presented their project at the Bangor Expo and were highly commended by our judges. These are Bees and CLE, and they are both gift designers. For the Enterprise Challenge Final, they created a series of exciting and handcrafted gifts, which we will hopefully see on the screen. I think we're having some technical difficulties, but I'm going to try and bring them to life for you. So they promoted themes of mindfulness, exercise, activity. They created all of the designs themselves, and they've even created a special commission for today. I'm wondering if we can get that up on the screen. This is where I need to bring out my comedy skills and do a bit of a stand-up routine. Should have pre-prepared some jokes. Okay, so I think we're going to have to present our commission to you at the end of today's proceedings. So I'm going to invite the first team in to get set up and to deliver their pitch. Judges, I hope you really enjoy. Welcome to our first group here today, which is Hallowed Grounds, which is Connor, Helen and Jared, who are Access Diploma students all the way from Ballinhinch. Unfortunately, Connor couldn't be with us today couldn't be with us today because his wife went into labour last night, so we've let him off the hook. But good luck to our very first group, Hallowed Grounds from Ballinhinch.
Thank you. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Connor Melville and this is Helen McFarlane. Today we're presenting you with our idea of Hallowed Grounds, and our motto is coffee and cleanliness. We are incorporating both of these concepts into our product, which is an exfoliating soap bar made up of recycled coffee grounds. So at the beginning of September we were posed with the issue of excess waste and how we plan to combat that. Our current methods of waste management are failing and are not sustainable long term. Early on, we decided to focus in on coffee consumption. In the UK alone, we consume 95 million cups of coffee each day, and the natural question is, where do all these coffee grounds go? Next slide, please. Sorry. So, the majority of the coffee grounds go to landfill, where they produce methane gas. Over a period of 100 years, methane gas is 34 times more toxic than carbon dioxide. Next slide, please. Sorry. Mass-produced exfoliating products in the past used microplastics. This problem has been reduced in the UK by the banning of microbeads being used as exfoliants. However, this has not been done worldwide. This means that microplastics have been found in every continent, including both polar regions. Microplastics cannot be filtered out during waste processing, therefore they end up in our waterways. They are ingested by wildlife who die because they cannot digest them, and then it also poses a problem to us as we eat fish. Other natural exfoliants are available on the market, such as oats, sugar and bicarbonate. And while popular, using them as exfoliants makes that their primary purpose. Coffee grounds, on the other hand, must be used for their primary function before they can be made into soap, therefore giving them a secondary purpose and removing them from landfill. So, there are several key ways our product will have a positive social impact. We will be providing several local businesses in Ballynahinch with an alternative means of disposing of their coffee grounds. This is a mutually beneficial arrangement for both parties. Next slide, please. We have also factored in a charitable contribution into our profit margin. 50p from each bar of soap that we sell will go towards Madlug. Madlug is a company based in Northern Ireland that provides luggage for children to transport their belongings. And for every 20 bars of soap that we sell, that pays for one bag for a child.
Okay, just want to say the benefits aren't just environmental and social. There's also health and personal benefits to using our soap too. Caffeine doesn't just wake you up when you drink it, it comes through your skin as well. By using it as an exfoliant, we remove the dead layer of skin cells and allowing the caffeine to reach the healthy layers. Recent studies have shown the benefits of using caffeine and coffee grounds in personal care products because they can reduce the inflammation and redness of the skin and reduce the appearance of cellulite and under eye bags. We have paired our soap with natural essential oils known for their energising and uplifting scents in orange, lemongrass and eucalyptus. And we have also created a white coffee soap bar made with goat's milk base and a vegan friendly black coffee soap made from a vegetable base. This is a vegan friendly option and these two bases have been paired with the essential oils. There's some samples here that I'd like to hand out at the end, and we haven't forgot Mr. Brannigan. There's a little parcel for him to take home or to be sent to him. So the market research of the soap and using soap made with coffee grounds, there's very little that actually goes into the soap, meaning it's there for smells and aesthetics rather than exfoliation and caffeine. And the soap I found on the market is much more expensive than the price point we would be aiming for using a much lower amount of coffee. So there's currently no other sellers of this product in our area. And finally, just want to have a wee chat about the cost. We would like to sell our soap for £2 for a 65 gram bar. Each bar costs 40 pence to make. There's 10 pence towards the packaging, and we would donate 50 pence towards this excellent work at Madlug for children in foster care, and that would leave us with a £1 profit point per bar. These are the current costs of the small scale production, but if given the opportunity to continue with this idea, I've worked out costings for a larger production, including eco-friendly packaging, which would give a greater return. And you can ask me any questions about that at the end if you're interested. Now back to you, Connor.
So just very briefly, in conclusion, the amount of coffee that we consume every year has increased drastically over the period of the last 10 years. This is something that we're really passionate about addressing, and we believe that our product does this. So thank you very much for listening to our pitch, and if you have any questions, as Helen said, please feel free to ask us.
can I hand out the samples? Oh, my hand sanitizer's gone.
Thank you very much.
And if you would like to come up and smell the soaps, there's some sitting there. You could, the white ones are
today, yeah.
so you can take those home and try them, but if you want to see and touch the product, there's samples here that you can actually look at. Does anybody have any questions?
I'd like to know about the packaging, please. Your intentions on the eco packaging.
In the eco packaging, okay. There's a company called Ecolab, which manufacture eco-friendly packaging. Obviously, we had a short period of time to arrange this, so I haven't had an opportunity to order some stuff from them. They sell eco bags, like the little cellophane bags that can be composted, along with stickers to let people know that they can be put in compostable waste rather than in a black bin. And we would probably use them for the. I've worked out for costings. I've added the cost of using their product in with our soap.
Good, thank you.
Any other ones?
I suppose I maybe have a couple of questions. if that's
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
Well done.
Thank you.
You know, great pitch, and I think it's a fabulous idea. I'm just wondering, what made you focus in on coffee? Because obviously excess waste is a massively broad topic area. So what made your group focus in on
I'm a
coffee?
addict.
Right, okay.
Two coffee enthusiasts. I think really because obviously, as we said, we both enjoy our coffee, and it's something that we're aware. You know, it's something that people drink every day. It's something that's easily accessible for people to try and address. So it seemed to us as though, you know, like coffee grounds, finding that we could actually make a bar of soap with a secondary use of the coffee grounds, with the coffee actually, you know, having its primary focus of being coffee, and then the coffee grounds being able to be used as a secondary focus, whereas other things like bicarbonate and oats can only be used once. So I think there was a number of reasons that really drew us towards using coffee grounds.
We also talked to some of the coffee shops in our local area, and the majority of their coffee grounds go straight to landfill.
Yeah.
So one particular restaurant they kept the coffee grounds for me for a few days, so I was able to make samples of the soap to try, and they would be more than happy to continue that. They were really enthusiastic about the idea.
You've obviously done a lot of work in and around the
Costing side of things, and also obviously also the social impact that you can have through the selling of it. Did you give any consideration to the sort of market size that you'd be looking at initially?
Well, we live in a market town, so obviously there's that.
Yeah.
The costings I did were for 950 bars, which would be
Okay.
sort of not a huge amount of stock in like the wider scheme of things, but enough that we could do Christmas markets, or there's a couple of stores in Ballynahinch that actually allow you to rent a shelf and sell your product on there as long as they like your pitch. So the market probably would be small, but it could increase.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just probably touched on there from the last point. The changing the behaviour for people in the coffee shops. Because like you say, typically they go into landfill. Okay, the collection process of the spent grounds or the used grounds. How does that work for you?
Oh, that was really easy.
Okay.
In the shop that we approached, they have a bin beside the coffee machines,
Yeah.
and when they're finished with making the coffee, it instantly goes into that bin. They used a plastic container and set it on the counter between the coffee machines, and the staff actually found it much easier to tip the coffee onto the
Into that.
counter than it was to go across to the bin.
Okay, and then take it then, use it arrange then to go and collect
I
that.
collected it then and brought it home and froze it so that it didn't mould, because obviously coffee grounds are wet and they'll go off quite
Yeah.
quickly. So I froze it till it was able to be used for making
Okay.
soap.
And is there a holding or like a lead time on that? You know, the capacity that you have then to, like, how much can you deal with, really?
I'm not sure. I mean, I did this in my kitchen, so
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and we went with soap bases because making soap apparently can cause explosions, and I'm already bad enough in the kitchen without that.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it depends on how quick I can get my microwave to work, I suppose.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
I'm not entirely sure how big we could make it. I have a chest freezer in the garage. It could probably hold quite a lot of coffee.
Coffee grounds. Brilliant.
I know that Lush do something similar, so how are you planning to differentiate yourselves between them to be able to target your target audience, and then how are you planning to be able to distribute to them?
Well, I think as Helen actually said during the presentation, what we're hoping to do to separate ourselves from other similar products is that our product will have a higher amount of coffee grounds used in the product, whereas other products would, they would have coffee grounds in them, but it would mainly be for the, the aesthetic sides of it, whereas we would have, a higher base of coffee grounds in our product.
So can I just
Yes,
jump
go
in
ahead.
there with, usually when people are making coffee soap, they put around 5 to 10 grams per 150 grams of soap base, where we have 15 grams of coffee grounds in 65 or in 50 grams of soap base, so it's a much higher percentage. Sorry, go ahead, Connor.
Oh, no, I would say that would be sort of the main way as to how we would separate ourselves, because whereas the other products would maybe be for more vanity purposes, ours would have more of a eco side to our product than they would. So I think that's what would separate us really. Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. We'll leave that with somebody to take to Instagram.
I think they set the bar pretty high. I don't think we've actually introduced our judges yet, so I just want to say a very warm welcome on behalf of the Enterprise team. So we have Gemma Drinkell here today, Robert Ferguson, Gary Ritchie and Marianne McKennerley. So a very warm welcome to SERC. And I'd like to introduce you to our second group, who are the Babbling Bins. So welcome David, Archie, James and Dee Dee from Construction in Newton Ards. And can we have an extra round of applause for these guys, because they only had 2 days during Enterprise Fortnight, as they are apprentice students and they were on the workplace the rest of the day. So welcome to the Babbling Bins.
I'm David Spratt. I'm here with James Mallon, Dee Dee Brown and Archie Neal, and we are the Babbling Bins. We're in our second year studying Level 3 Electrical Installation at Newton Ards SERC. We have developed an innovative solar-powered talking bin. Away you go.
Good afternoon, judges. How are you? So we have created a bin, as you can see. We started off with the initial idea about a problem that we occur in Northern Ireland, which is rubbish around the streets. This idea came across with all of us that we want to motivate our younger people, us and generations ahead, with throwing rubbish in the bin. So we came up with this idea with rubbish being left on the floor and rubbish being on the streets beside the bin. Example, the 12th, etc., etc., where it's all over the ground, where we just went, you know what, why not we throw it in the bin? So we came up with the idea, we looked into some research, and the research we found in about it was that the bin what we have here was a lot more advanced than any other bin we've seen. There's 3 bins, 2 of them in Northern Ireland and then 1 in England. These bins here have a solar power that no one else has, and the created electricity is a little wee microns from the sun, bounces on the solar panel, creates electricity, and allows our bin to talk. So it does. The initial idea from all 4 of us was to come across that we wanted to show that teaching people throwing rubbish in the bin was a lot easier. So we looked at a wee bit of research, and the research that we came across was the brain always decides when we have been thank you'd or shown that we're happy or anything, creates a little chemical in our head. In our head, there's a little chemical that goes in and gives us that little motivation that we would like to, have it again. So this bin here was created for the fact of it, like, for example, let me put it. So a little bit of rubbish thrown into the bin gives you a little saying, if you want to throw a little bit of rubbish in there. These little bins here cost around about £300 is what we found. These bins here can be innovated more with a little USB charger for fanciness and can go into any bin that you would like. It's just a little small box that talks and a little solar powered at the top, and just allows the electricity to come through into a power bank and allows the power to go through. These can be in schools, outside, and can be in workplaces and much more, even in your own home. Just encourages kids, young kids, as you may have kids if you don't, allows them to throw rubbish into the bin, encourages them so later on down the line they will throw rubbish in and not throw it on the ground. This is a really, really well designed product, and this is a prototype, so it's a well designed product and can do more and adapt to it. If you want to change the world, we can help you change it with these bins. Thank you.
Have you had any more thought and kind of specifically identifying some partners?
We have a few, especially in SERC. We've looked at the Eco Committee, and the Eco Committee have actually tried to find a solution to help people throw rubbish in the bins. We spoke to them and they said they love the idea and they would love to see it progress into more. So they did.
Very good, thank you.
You mentioned earlier on there about costs. You said the bins
were around £300. Just want to make sure I'm picking that up right. Is that for you to retrofit and create what you're going to install into each bin?
Yes. When we had a look about, there is bins out there, like I said, in England, and their costs are around about I think it was 2,600
Okay.
to create one. But when we looked into it, we can make it a lot cheaper and a lot more sustainable than what they can.
Mm-hmm.
So we could.
Yeah, we found that you can buy a wee solar powered battery bank off Amazon for as little as £50, and then the rest steel conduit. It's just labour then to build it, so it really doesn't cost much.
Very good.
Nice, and that's a prototype.
Yep.
Have you any plans to, I don't know, make it smaller?
We could make it smaller. Where we started, we had a wee idea about making the prototype just to show you what it looks like. And then we thought about the recycling and all to it as well. And we could create the bins with plastic that there is in the seas, the save the sea turtles and etc., fish and all.
Yeah.
And we thought about making the design into actual bins through using reused plastic. So we did. So we can make it any size you want, any tall, big, whatever you want. It's easy to do.
So essentially integrate that into an actual bin?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Is there any maintenance with this?
There is. So basically, there's two sides of it. The maintenance side of it is the part is just basically taking the bin bag out. That's all it is, really. Just like a normal bin. We usually would have a door on it and a bit of wood to block off the recycle side and the general waste. But obviously, 2 days at it, we've tried to put as much as we can into it. But it's a prototype and can be progressed into more. So good.
In terms of the messaging, so you're looking at like positive reinforcement, really, for to encourage that behaviour change. The terms of the wee messages, can you customise those? Like, say,
Yes.
for example, for a school setting, hospital setting, or whatever, do you know what I mean? Yeah?
Yes, we could. We can
Yeah.
create it into a customizable message.
Perfect. Okay.
What I will say is within 2 days to produce a prototype like that there is superb.
Phenomenal, yeah.
It really is superb. To come up with the idea, to research it, and then to actually produce the prototype,
Build
that
it.
sort of standard is
I tell you, it was
fantastic.
2 hard days at it, especially for 4 of us.
Yeah.
And we were sore heads after work. We did put all our mind into it.
Where'd you steal the bin from?
We're not going to say. We're
Very
not going
good.
to say.
No, thank you. It's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Sophie there, so you're going to help out throughout the presentation. So you're from Health and Social Care in Lisburn.
Yeah.
So yeah, take away and best of luck.
Hi everyone, my name is Kat and I have created the Forget-Me-Not boxes. The Forget-Me-Not boxes are a product that I came up with in order to help children and young people that are struggling with childhood bereavement. Initially, whenever we were told that we were making a PBL activity, I was going to make it about self-harm. It's something that I personally have struggled with and something that statistically is on the rise. However, whenever I was looking for the statistics for self-harm, I came across a link that brought me to childhood bereavement, and I found a statistic that shook me. Every day, 111 children lose a parent. Every 22 minutes, a child loses a parent. The boxes are both gender specific and age specific. The child's box is for 5 to 9 year olds, and the adolescent box is for 10 to 18 year olds. Sophie's gonna bring that around now and let you have a better look. Feel free to take things out and look deeper into the box. The adolescent box contains practical items such as sanitary products, toiletries, as well as a first aid kit. They also include soothing items such as a teddy bear, because you're never too old for a teddy bear. Aromatherapy items like wax melts. There will also be options for incense or like essential oils. There's also a journal, as well as the pens, not to be too pushy, but to hopefully encourage the children to write down what they're feeling. There are also distractive items such as a reading book, as well as colouring books, and bee bombs to try and encourage them to go outside, as well as promote the environment. In the children's boxes there are similar items but also differences, such as a blanket to provide extra support, as well as a birdhouse kit to again encourage the environmental approach, and emotion cards to try and again promote the children using the journal with better understanding of their emotions. I've also included more dermatologically friendly soap in the children's box, as they have much more temperamental skin. In your judges packs there's reviews, as I've released this product already locally in Belfast. There's been a lot of attention towards it and a lot of interest. There's also a review, a testimonial from an anonymous source about what it was like for her in foster care. She was trafficked, and she explains why she believes that this box would have helped her in a situation where she had no control. The cost of the box at the minute is £60. That's with no bulk buys, no discounts or anything. However, I believe that it would be extremely easy to get the cost of that box down, either through buying maybe lower priced items, or through buying the bulk buy items if I were to become a business, which would take £10 to £15 off through a rough Amazon search. I also believe that I could contact the Freemasons of Ireland with the possibility of providing the teddy bears for the boxes, which would again take another £10 off. There's such a demand for these boxes that I believe they're essential, and that charities, and either if I sell them myself or if charities take interest in them, that they'll do extremely well. Thank you for your time.
Firstly, well done.
Thank you.
Very good pitch. And what I'll say is it's clearly something that you've thought through in quite a significant amount of detail. You know, you've kind of covered every sort of potential item or element that would be of use or benefit to the child or young adult going through that type of situation. So well done in that regard. You mentioned that you'd launched these here already and had some reviews. I'd only got to start looking through your pack when you started presenting, so I didn't want to keep reading while you were talking.
Yeah.
How many have you kind of sold already?
I haven't sold them yet. I had just basically posted photos of them and just sort of stated that these were a school project I was working on, and would anyone be willing to look at them and see if, you know, from a child's perspective, would they have any interest in them? You know, have you lost anyone recently, and would you find a benefit from the box? And I got 11 reviews. I've only put 3 into the pack, as well as the testimonial. But everyone had positive reviews, and I think there was 4 points maybe negatively to work on. One of the concerns mainly was that in the male's teenage box was I wanted to put erasers with shaving tutorials, and obviously there was concern about putting razors into the box with children that had just lost a parent. Would there be self-harm concerns? But there's safety razors now that you can't break into, and they're also eco-friendly as well. So I would be looking into putting those in instead of just regular disposable razors.
Well done.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal idea, and well done as well. To say, like, you know, the thought goes into all that's fantastic, and you said that, like, well, your research that you're doing, you've got a problem, but you've seen a way of overcome that already straight up. So, yeah, amazing. You said about the cost there. How are the boxes supplied? Are you making them yourselves, or?
I make them myself. That one, I actually got the wood out of a skip, and took the scraps from the skip and made the box myself. The material on the side of that box is material from a local seamstress who found that material wasn't doing well, so she gave me that for a discounted price. And the pleather I had lying around the flat, so I used it as well. I was supposed to put it on this one, but I ran out of the little studs, so it wouldn't have looked as well. It wouldn't have looked as finished if I had to put the pleather on it, and I quite like the basic design.
Well, straight up, that's phenomenal. The creativity to do that and yourself is amazing. Yeah, great, I think, yeah.
Thank you.
I was just wanting to ask about, you're talking about selling these, so have you thought about how you might sell them?
I haven't actually decided yet. Initially I was looking to do them as a charity, but whenever the judges came around, they seemed more towards the idea of doing them as a business, and maybe even selling them into charities, or, you know, doing them as a discount to charities. So I haven't quite made my mind up yet, but I just think that there's something that's definitely needed, so whichever route it takes is whichever route I'll go.
Okay.
Because I do definitely want to get them out somehow. I just think they're that needed, and that there's not enough resources out there for children that are going through you know, something as traumatic as this.
It comes across as a very thoughtful and considered
project,
product, which is lovely, and I think that's something that you should hold on to.
Yeah, and these boxes actually come with a lock on the front, so, you know, I would obviously replace the likes of that one with the opportunity to lock it and make it more personal that way.
Lovely.
How long does it normally take you to make a box?
It depends on how long it takes the products to come in as well. The painting takes me about a day, but altogether it would probably take 3 to 5 days to get all of the products together as well, because I have the list. It's in the business packs as well, or in the judges packs as well, of all the materials that goes into the boxes. But just on getting the actual products to go into the box takes about 3 to 5 days. Bereavement UK has said that they can't endorse the box, but that they can recommend it. You know, if somebody phoned in and said that they were looking for something like a supportive gift, you know, to give to a child or something, that they could say, oh well, there's this business that makes these boxes. Bernardo's hasn't got back to me yet. And again, I've reached out to the Freemasons of Ireland. They haven't got back to me yet. I'm just going to keep pestering everyone I can to possibly get products for the boxes and to endorse the boxes. And
have you potentially looked at any other avenues to be able to get the word out there and spread about this? Because
I actually had a business card made. I've actually forgot it today, but she has said that she would make a website and stuff for me at a discount, and that I could share it around that way, and I would share it around through social medias, and I would just push it as much as I can. There's these boxes, I had the main idea was that I would put them in schools and in hospitals, and that way they would be immediately available to give out in the hospitals, and that the schools could give them through a referral scheme. There's like a sample referral I made up in the judges packs as well, of like just very basic, you know, your name, your address, dietary requirements as well, because I put snacks in the boxes in case, you know, you're maybe feeling too low to cook, as well as quick recipes, quick and easy recipes that you can either cook in under an hour or just make and leave and come back to it. But the idea is that you can just make your referral, not have to worry about it, have immediate contact support, and then come back and you'll have your box within hopefully 2 to 3 days.
Amazing idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Give this box back to you now.
That's really hard, isn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Here today, and they're construction students from Bangor. So welcome. We also have Jack in the group who isn't here today. He's unwell, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery. Good luck, guys. Thank you.
Hello, here's our presentation of the Mini Pyramid Company, and the team members of this project is myself, Levi.
I'm Kevin. I'm Simeon.
And then unfortunately Jack isn't with us. So if we just go on to the next slide, please. So at the beginning of the year, we were given a task to create a communal hub out of recycled materials that will give a positive impact on the environment and with renewable energy. And this is our process and how we came up with our final product. If we just go on to the next slide, please.
So whenever we were given our objective, we all came up with our own sketch and idea of what we should go forward with. We talked about advantages and disadvantages on each one, and eventually we came up with Kevin's idea we thought would be the most effective and sustainable to go forward with. Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. Okay, we designed this to be like 100% environmentally friendly, 100% like recycled materials, renewable energy, solar panel powered. It won't impose on any like important land. Like we're gonna have it set like outside the back of campus, around the woodland area. And the materials will be locally sourced. I know a private contractor, I work with him, and he said they'd be able to not only like donate materials, but if I need them in the future, be able to purchase them from him. Next slide, please. The social impact of our project, like we wanted it to be able to bring a bunch of students together, like a group of like 4 or 5, whatever, could go out like on a lunch break, study, like if they have some free time, so that they enjoy their time on campus. But on the flip side, we also wanted it to be a place where, say you're not having such a good day, you want to go out and like just isolate yourself. It just sort of reflects on like a bad day at school, college. There's a very high rate of depression throughout teenagers, so and that stems from home life and college. So we just want them to be able to go out and clear their head and keep themselves to themselves. Next slide, please.
So when we came up with the final design, we got the concept drawn throughout just to explain like what materials we'll be using. And then we went on to SketchUp and made a 3D model on the computer just to get a realization of what it will actually look like. And then we went on to AutoCAD and designed all the elevations, what it looked like on the inside, the measurements and everything that will be included with it. And then we went on to designing the actual model, which is this one here. And this is, we made out of lollipop sticks, cardboard, and then a wee solar panel with plastic and then sticks, just to give a realization of what it looked like. If we can just go on to the next slide, please.
So looking forward to where else it could be used and future possibilities. We thought about, again, schools, primary, nursery and secondary, that students can go out, do what they want with it and really just enjoy themselves and have their time to themselves, as well as we looked at a woodland area behind SERC, just outside, where we thought it would blend in perfectly and wouldn't disrupt the environment in any detrimental way at all, as well as festivals, concerts, things like that could be useful. Again, it's really down to the client and what they want to do with it. And going forward, we're open to any suggestions and any ideas we're happy to talk about. As well, flat pack opportunity, that's a big deal. We would like to take into consideration because it's easily transported, cost efficient and again sustainable.
Yeah, we also came up with like a competitive advantage that we looked up on different websites for similar kind of projects, and we came up with ours is very cost effective because most of it can be donated, as said in previous slides before. So we came up with like 2 days of work for like hiring people to come out and build it. It's like £400. So it's really cost effective and it's cheaper than all the other ones that we've looked at. So yeah, that's what our redesign was. So thank you for listening, and if there's any like questions, we're happy to answer. So.
Firstly, well done.
Thank you.
So, actually, I really like the idea, and I like the way you've thought about where else could it be used. So you were set a challenge to design a communal hub for use within the college.
Yeah.
And then you took it a stage further and thought about where else could it be used. And I'm even thinking places like glamping and stuff has become really popular over the recent period. So well done on looking at how and where else it could be adapted and used outside of just the context that you were set within. In relation to if you were to start to build these here, have them being built or flat packed opportunities, have you thought about the scale and the size of the material and things you're going to need? I know you've mentioned about donating,
yeah,
but
yeah, when it came to the actual like specification brief, we were told the actual measurements had to be within the vicinity like 5 by 5. So we were thinking like maybe a 4 by 5 up about 3.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be like a large flat pack, but you know, it will be easily assembled. Like it's nothing too complicated.
Yeah, it won't be difficult to just put together. It's really easy to put together.
And the whole shape of it as well just comes together. You know, it's all weather resistant because the shape and all ranges goes right off, and the light as well from the plastic. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah, the wood will have like a specific finish, so that said, rain and weather won't damage any of the wood because of the actual shape and the plastic on top. Any water, leaves, whatever, because of where it will be situated, will just fall straight off right onto the ground.
Yeah. What made you settle on the pyramid design? Because you had some really nice designs that
See, I
each of
think
you
it
would
was
look like
just
a
like it
generator.
was more unique. Like I don't know, we've seen like a lot of like wee sheds that like the design we had, and then there's a lot of them round ones.
Mhm.
And then we came across like Kevin's idea, which is the pyramid, and we're just like it's really unique and it's more like it looks more.
We reckon it'd probably be a little
Aesthetic
bit more.
pleasing and all.
Yeah, we reckon it'd be a little bit more like sustainable, as in the shape. Like triangle is one of the strongest shapes there is. So put that around pyramid, it'll definitely last the test of time.
Yeah.
Again, we wanted to be able to portray our ideas into the actual model. The pyramid would be, you know, the easiest to make and easiest to just put across what we're trying to put out there, you know.
Well done, thank you.
I love the sort of like TP design almost. I mean, it's sort of like a cross between TP. I think, you know, your idea there about for festivals and everything is fantastic. The only thing is probably touch on yourself for me is the only bit I want to know a wee bit more about is your plans in terms of how this would be installed. So say flat packing, yeah, absolute nightmare. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? For people like myself, no, not very good with tools, would there be plans or thoughts of maybe it actually being like a service that would be provided?
Yeah, that's what we were thinking of. Like if like for the labour, like off the 2 days, we can get like people let's do just joinery in the SERC, or even just hire people out for like it just need 2 people to put together. More than likely, so it would be like £100 for the 2 days for the 2 people. So there's like £200 to £400. So it's like cost effective, and it won't cost that much to put up.
Okay.
And then we also came up with like, for instance, with schools and festivals and different types of places that we've came up with. If you buy a certain amount, you'll get the certain amount like half price. So if you buy like 3, you get the third one half price.
Okay.
Kind of like idea
We
going on.
also think about giving schools and education discounts, especially just because just giving them facilities and all is just what we want.
And that's very much with the sort of communal hub focus idea of it, yeah? Okay. Cool.
Thought about sorry. Have you thought about anything to put inside it? Is there going to be anything inside it, or is it just going to be as is?
Yeah, we were thinking of putting like, you know, you could put sofas, like wee chairs in it, you can put bean bags, and then eventually we were thinking of like computer games or like, what was it we were thinking of? Like
I always want to put a hammock in there or something.
Yeah, hammock or something. So there's stuff that can be put into it because of the space, the wide variety of space that will be there. So there's like different things you can put in.
Obviously, seeing as it'll actually be like solar powered, be able to put in like sockets and stuff. Therefore, you can bring your laptop out, you can bring it's like your phone, whatever you have, and it's just easy access on the go from there.
Have you thought about like scalability of it? If you wanted, say, if you were doing a festival, and there's certain festivals say, you know what, this would be really great if people are staying over. We can put beds and stuff in it, or make it like
there will
VIP
be enough room
one.
for like beds, like with them pop-up beds, or even like sleeping bags if people don't want to bring a bed with them.
Such
then
a good idea. Such a good idea.
I think it's a great design because there's just something about a TP that makes you go like relax or chill, or you know, and that you want to sit in it and just chat to people. So it's a really like even the shape of it straight away kind of creates the atmosphere of it. So my question really is more around the business side of things, and you've kind of identified markets that you want to sell to. I was wondering if you put any thought about how you would sort of make contact with them, or how you would approach them, or how you would market this as a product.
Go through SERC with that.
There's a lot of like local schools, colleges, even through Belfast, stuff like that. So like, we could ring them, offer to get like say 1 cent out, maybe lower price and stuff, and then have a couple people go up and assemble it there, and then they would then show it to all their students, and they might tell other people, and go around that way. It's just essentially go off what you're hearing.
Yes.
At that point.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Okay. So.
There we go. So our next group today is the story of the pigeon. So with me on stage we've got Carrie's over there, Jonathan and Ellen, and they're 3 art and design students from Bangor. So best of luck, guys, and I'll let you take it away.
Hello and good afternoon. It's nice to meet you all. Yes, my name's Carrie McGinn. This is Ellen McGee, and this is Jonathan Pratt. And yes, we're actually from Downpatrick. Sorry. And this is our project of the story of the pigeon. I hope you enjoy.
So our project, the story of the pigeon, it began when we were presented with a traditional Zen Buddhist story dating centuries ago of the 10 bulls, also known as the ox herding images. And so this was a collection of poems that were eventually accompanied by illustrations that were used as a guide to help practitioners of the Buddhist culture on their path to enlightenment. So we were tasked with modernizing this story and making it more accessible to people of all ages and all reading levels. So within our project, Ellen covered making the covers for our book. Carrie covered the illustrations on the inside of the book, and I covered the page layout as well as some of the creation of the book and putting it together.
Yep, so as Johnny touched on there, we wanted to make this book a wee bit more accessible for all ages. So whatever age, you will get something a wee bit more out of it, maybe a bit less if you're younger. So the original story was about trying to find enlightenment and peacefulness. So we decided as our storyline to choose a bird, and that bird would be a pigeon, something a wee bit undesirable to many people, but it sort of connects with those emotions that are sort of undesirable to yourselves. So it is a story on how the pigeon finds love within himself rather than searching around him and is comfortable around his surroundings. So we decided just to change to one word sort of to describe each image. So it is sort of more of a thought-provoking type of book. And we also decided to add in on the front and the back, touching on feedback from our last presentation we did. So we added note pages on the front as well as the back without titling notes, as we didn't want to feel we didn't want to make the reader feel obliged to use it, but it is there if they would like. So yes, take it out.
Our initial plan for the book was to distribute them across the country. So the plan would be that the book would find the reader, and so they wouldn't have to seek out and say go and purchase the book. We decided to go for a plain cover on the book, as we didn't want any flashy logos or titles, because we believe that if you are curious enough to open the book and go and see what's inside, then the book was meant for you. Yes. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. So one of the major things that we had to consider when we were making our book was what materials that we would use. One of our main goals was to use as many recyclable materials as we could. So for example, the card and the linen that we used to cover the books have been completely recycled. However, we did have to buy some materials such as the paper for the pages to compromise, because we didn't want to diminish the quality of the book itself. We wanted it to be, at a respectable level that people would enjoy. This isn't great. So we had to make that compromise between recyclable materials as well as materials that would be good enough to keep the quality of the book up. And the project itself has been great, because we've learned ourselves how to make books, which is handy for us as art students, because we can make our own sketchbooks, and then that saves us from having to source them ourselves or buy them, which saves money, and it's a new skill that we can learn. So if anyone doesn't have any other points, we would be more than happy to move on to questions.
I love this. This is class.
Thank you.
It's a great concept, and you've actually approached this as an art project, which I really like. In terms of the book is going to find you rather than you go and find the book. I love that idea around it, and the whole idea I've written down here, guerrilla distribution. So that's just class. I love that idea of kind of breaking the distribution.
Thank you.
Traditional distribution of books. So it's a great concept. I think there is something in there around understanding. There are going to be costs involved in this. So have you thought about how you might fund this as an art project?
So currently, we're happy to say this, that the project is funded from our own pockets.
Mhm.
However, in the future, we would perhaps like to team up with charities or organisations based around mental health and well-being. So we were hoping that perhaps that could help lead to funding. However, at the minute, we're more than happy to, as I say, take it out of our own pockets just to get the book out to the people that might need it.
Very good. Thank you.
I love the concept of the pigeon. I really like that, their whole thought process about finding yourself and being happy with yourself first, and picking something that you maybe already indicated that some people might seem as, what was the term used, undesirable? Is that is that the right word? I really like that. I really like that their thought. I also liked how you've balanced between quality and wanting to have your green and environmental credentials as well. And I suppose one thought there is that what you are using is still recyclable. And by using it now, you'd be hoping that their book is used for generations to come, not just days to come. So
absolutely, that's one of the reasons we chose linen and card for the cover, to make it more durable, so it's not immediately being chucked out after a couple of uses.
And what would your target audience be, sort of age-wise and things for this year? Have you given any consideration to that?
So our target audience, sort of, it's possibly mainly targeted at, say, like older sort of adults and things, but it's something that if a child found in the house, they could pick up and they could connect with it in like their own sort of way, or even something for their parents to sit down and read with them if they don't fancy opening a big Harry Potter book at night time sort of thing. So it's just something for all age groups, but definitely more for like teenagers, adults sort of thing, to get up that conceptual sort of idea behind it.
Could I add to that?
Of course, of course.
So yeah, that when we were designing the book, that is one of the things we took into consideration. Yes, our main demographic would be mainly older people, but with the illustrations that we included, that assists younger readers. But as well as that, there are more thought-provoking, minimal words that we put on the pages opposite to the illustrations.
Yeah. And the last bit for me is I love the blank pages.
Yeah.
Because you can nearly tell your own story through the book as well as you go
Yeah.
through when you're making, and like the way you didn't name it notes, so well done.
No, that's really
Thank you very much.
Really good point, actually. Thank you. No, that's
How are you going to make it available to people to be able to find?
So we were sort of thinking of maybe placing it in libraries, areas that would be more accepting to something like that, but we were also thinking of just anywhere in sort of centres or any like wee outdoor centres or things, something that can connect with people of different backgrounds almost in a way. So it's not maybe those people that are looking for spirituality and those people that are looking for mindfulness now. It's more so that anyone will be able to find it, but it's something that you could almost pass around. If you've ever seen like the wee rocks and they're painted and you like go pick them up, taste them somewhere else. So we were sort of maybe thinking along that line, so it sort of gets people sharing as well and that sort of stuff.
I love the idea, and I love the idea that there is no title, so it encourages that sense of like curiosity to go in and have a look, and it makes it more like I want to know what's inside it. So I know like anybody, like kids, I probably more so as well, be like, oh, what's inside this? Yeah, really good idea.
The design's fantastic, really good.
Thank you very much.
Even just flicking through it there very quickly, it's doing exactly what you said it was going to do. It makes you think. So that's phenomenal design, really good.
It means the world to us.
Yeah,
thanks.
no, that's really good. How much is it costing you to produce?
So with a lot of the materials being recycled, or sorry, us intending to recycle a lot of the materials, that varies, depending on what's available at the time. So we mightn't be able to source linen for the cover. We were lucky enough at this opportunity to, gather linen that wasn't being needed, was being thrown out, so we took that. But in terms of cost, the main thing that we need to consider is the paper that we're printing the illustrations onto. And while we did initially try using recycled paper for that, again it fell back onto the quality of it. We found the paper wasn't great, it didn't take well to the glue, The prints didn't come out to a satisfactory level, so I had to settle on buying printer paper, and that was about, I think, around £10 for the pack. I can't remember exactly how much was in the pack, but that could say it's a relatively small book with few pages in it, and the pages are cut from A4, so one A4 page covers 8 pages within the book. So there's that £10 in paper will go a long way. But unfortunately at the minute we don't have an exact figure on how much it would cost.
Okay, no worries. I think what the guys were saying there about almost like the Easter eggy element to it, I love. Do you know what I mean? Like, just popping up and finding. I think that's great. But yeah, no, look here, well done. I love that design. Just even the feel of it. Do you know what I mean? Feels great. So it's really well thought out. Fantastic.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I might have one more question. Because this is kind of self-funded, like, what do you see success looking like for you guys? Like, what do you feel like this is going to be? This is the greatest. This is what this was intended for.
Yeah, we were thinking about actually getting involved with local charities. So there's like Aware of coming to us, and in Downpatrick there's actually like an art therapy centre. So we were thinking about maybe trying to tie in more of like sort of like the charity aspect of it, so that, you know, it's something that can get people talking. You know, perhaps we could even get people creating this book together with us, you know, in a centre, you know, and it's something that is bringing mindfulness and like creating it, so you're thinking a wee bit more deeper than just sort of reading into it. So we were sort of hoping for maybe that sort of direction or something with it, but yeah.
Good.
Okay. Okay, everyone, so our next group is Ecolab Cosmetics, and they are science students from Lisburn. So we have Jenny, Katie and Maria here, so good luck, girls.
Hi, hello everyone. We are Ecolab and we are HNC student at SERC in Lisbon. I'm Maria, this is Katie and Jenny.
So alongside tech, I also work as a healthcare worker, so I'm constantly going in and out of different people's houses and having to sanitize my hands constantly. So I'd start to notice that my hands were very dry and cracked and sore. And now with the recent pandemic, everyone's starting to get really dry hands, and everyone's started using the hand sanitizers like this. So we decided that there's a lot of plastic packaging with hand sanitizers, and they only give you short time protection, and the alcoholic fragrance is what dries your hands out, and it's very costly and it's all just going to waste. So we wanted to replace this hand gel with our product, which is an antibacterial hand cream that will not only moisturise your hands but also sanitise them at the same time. Next slide.
Next slide.
The next one.
Yep.
So all of our ingredients are natural, so they're going to be kind to the skin. They'll be suitable for all kinds of skin. All the ingredients are ethical and eco-friendly. So we have shea butter, beeswax, coconut oil and citronelle essential oil. Citronelle essential oil gives it a really nice fragrance, and that's what gives it the antibacterial and antiviral properties. Next slide please. So we tested the product in the lab. Currently we've only tested it against bacteria. So we tested it against E. coli. Next slide. And that was our results. So on the left is the sanitizing gel and on the right is our hand cream, and there were very similar results. So in the future we plan to test it further against viruses, and we already have plans hopefully with Queen's University to test it against viruses there. And next slide please.
Right, let's talk money. We are planning to sell our creams in small jars as refills for £5 if you're buying the jar from us. If not, there will be $3.50. We also compared our product with others on the internet, and as you can see, it's £16 per 2 jars, and they are not even antiviral. So if you're going to buy from us, we are not only, those creams doesn't only moisturize your hands, but they also antiviral, and would be £7. So I think that's a massive gap, massive difference. Next slide, please. And also we are eco-friendly. So we want to replace all this plastic with refills. So there's no more. Everyone's happy, Earth is happy, we are happy.
Yeah, next
slide.
So on the marketing side of things, we don't want to use posters and leaflets, which are paper, and realistically they're always thrown out and not even looked at. So we went online and we've already created a Facebook page. So in under a week we got 94 likes, which shows that people are interested in buying this product. And we also plan to go to beauty stalls and craft stalls, such as like Christmas markets and stuff like that, to sell our product.
Yeah. That's us. Yeah. So we're gonna pass around wee sticks with the product on it if you want to give it a try.
And a very little of it goes a long way.
Works as a bug repellent as well, so not only is it antibacterial. No push.
Does.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Can I ask, what was the challenges we're setting?
We wanted the antiviral
Uh-huh.
cream instead of the gel. This is what we wanted to replace exactly, because that dries your hands. So you've got 2 in 1. You have something antibacterial, antiviral, and moisturize your hands. But if you get the gel, then you have to moisturize your hands after because they dry.
And how did you get to that project? What made you think that you want to replace the hand gel? What stimulated that there in your group? What made you go to the point where you looked at the hand gel and that plastic packaging and thought, we have to do something about it? What stimulated that?
The main focus was about being eco-friendly, and all the sanitizers used are plastic and most are really small bottles, and at the minute they're really expensive with COVID, and they were hard to get when the pandemic was really bad. So we wanted to make it just more appealing. Hand sanitizer has a horrible smell, it's really dry in your hands, whereas we wanted something that it's more, you want the hand cream but you're getting the antiviral properties with it.
And the last little question for me then before I pass on is, How did you identify citronella as having the antiviral properties that you needed?
We researched.
Yeah, originally we did have tea tree, but after testing it, we found it wasn't as effective as the citronelle, and there was more like advantages from the citronelle. Like it could be as a bug repellent as well, but just mostly it's antibacterial, and it's also like the smell of it is like helps to treat with like anxiety and depression stuff, like calming as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yep.
Would you be able to tell me where you would be sourcing beeswax from?
At the moment, we got it from Amazon, but we can do some research and find maybe local suppliers. Local would be, buy local would be best option.
That's great. I have a couple of other questions here. So what about the length of time that you're protected from? Like how many times a day do you think I'd have to put this on?
I think as much as you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you're going somewhere where you think you need to use, instead of sanitizer, you can use your hand cream.
And then the last question. I keep going back to the fact that I'm a Body Shop person. I just love the Body Shop. So like how you would pull me away. That's a real brand that people are loyal to. So it was something around, you know, how you would compete at such a competitive market, going into these types of self-care.
Yeah, I think the price. That's the big thing, because we're quite cheap, and we will do refills. So that's also you're saving money, because I think all these prices all include the plastic, the big marketing. So we are saving. We are doing online. And we will save on all these packages, and we will just sell you the product that is inside, nothing that's, you know, around it.
Absolutely. And where would I refill it?
Well, we were asking already local shops, like nature shops. There is few in Ballyacmore, and they were keen on it. I think we also asked, one of our colleagues asked the Holland and Barrett, and they wanted us to contact the head manager or someone in charge.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Just costing and marketing and stuff like that. Okay, so you look at your prices. It was like cost $150 to produce it. Yeah.
Yes.
And then it was retailing at £5. Okay, and I know you did sort of cost comparison between sort of other market competitors, and there's a big jump there. Okay. In terms of your marketing, I appreciate sort of the eco-friendly approach of, like, you know, papers and flyers and all that, and so you're essentially looking at digital here primarily. Yeah. Have you given any thought yet to sort of the costings all around that?
About the marketing?
Yeah.
Paying someone for the advertisement?
Not even saying about paying someone. I'm talking about the actual costs involved in, say, social marketing, like, you know, paid adverts, advertising, because it is a very competitive space. So just wondered, have you had any thoughts about that, or have you, like, so for example, looking at, you know, sort of more organic approaches to your marketing, whether it be talking to influencers or anything of that nature? Have you talked?
Yeah, I think influencers would be a good idea, because they reach to so many people, and they can, you know, as long as they're using, everybody wants to use. But we wanted, as we already mentioned, we launched our Facebook page. And in few days there was a crash on Facebook, so we didn't get any. Few days ago, I think 2 days ago, so we didn't get any likes. But I think the audience is growing pretty fast, you know. And some of my friends already asking me, can they purchase that?
Okay. Cool.
How are you distributing it? Because I know you're wanting to be eco-friendly.
We are, yeah.
So how do you plan to do that? Is it going to be physically delivering, or is it going to be sending it in the post? Or
no, we want to put our product in the shops, local shops, like nature shops. I mentioned before, there is few shops, like even in Ballyacmore, in Belfast, like already it's a refill shop. And I think Body Shop also has a refill station. So this is what we would like to put this cream.
See, if you're going to do that, have you thought then again about price? Because if you go to put it in the store, they're going to want a percentage.
I think we'll have to double the price if we're going to put into the shops.
Yeah. Okay.
We are also, if we are going to be delivering like further, we were thinking of biodegradable packaging, and there's also like foams you get in that you just run under the tap and they just melt, so they're like you don't have to throw them out.
Because we're using glass, we'd need that to protect the glass. At the minute
Or
we're just
tins.
using recycled glass jars, but eventually we'd hope that people could just bring their own jars from home instead of even having to buy one of our jars in the first
Exactly.
place.
They can bring absolutely anything. They can use already anything, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Smells great still.
It smells so much better than the alcohol, doesn't it?
It does. It's a really good idea. And it's like glass.
So next up we have the Red Wrigglers Wormery. So we'd like to welcome onto the stage Nicholas, Jamie, Brian, who are free access diploma students from Newcastle. So best of luck, guys, and I'll let you take it away.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are the Red Wrigglers. My name is Jamie Clark.
I'm Brian O'Neill. I'm Nicholas Rennie.
And welcome to our Enterprise project. As part of Enterprise Fortnight, we decided to build a wormery at our campus in Newcastle due to the lack of recycling facilities. Primarily we wanted to do this to increase the awareness around recycling and educate Little SERC. As you can see from the video behind me is a time lapse. This is a time lapse of our wormery being built and it being introduced to Little SERC. Little SERC is a creche at our campus in Newcastle. During 2019 and 2020, there was 126,000 worms, 126,000 tonnes of waste sent to landfill, biodegradable waste.
Jamie, you saying 126,000 tonnes of biodegradable waste?
Yes, Brian, 126,000 tonnes of biodegradable waste sent to landfill.
Well, our wormery is a 100% economical and safe way to compost. It turns your everyday household waste into high quality compost, which can then be used in flower beds and greenhouses, which will then in turn create new ecosystems. Food takes 6 to 8 weeks to break down in landfill, and it only takes 1 to 2 weeks in a wormery. 2 pounds of worms can compost 1 pound of waste in 24 hours. Now, in perspective to the 126,000 tonnes of biodegradable waste, if we had 252,000 tonnes of worms, we'd be able to break that down in a wormery in 24 hours. That's a lot of worms. We also understand that not everybody is going to have a watershed moment where they're going to change their habits overnight and maybe turn into Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg is brilliant, isn't she? No, it's not brilliant. 90% of these coffee cups end up in landfills, and they take up to 6 months to biodegrade in a landfill. Whereas in our wormery, it would take 68 weeks. And The worms will then compost these into worm husks, which are one of the best natural fertilisers known to man, and these will benefit both greenhouses and the environment.
Currently on the market, Belfast City Council would be our biggest competitor, as they offer free wormeries to schools. They work on a first come first served basis, which is application only. However, they only offer this within the Belfast City Council area. On the other hand, what we offer is flat pack wormeries and educational workshops aimed at educating and inspiring the next generation of recyclers. Our flat pack wormeries will be available to purchase by the general population, whereas our educational workshops will be aimed at educating and inspiring the next generation of recyclers.
Now, our model is primarily created from second-hand pallets, which were supplied by a local businessman called Walter Watson. There is clear perspex for fusion, which was £5, a box of screws, which is a £5, and we sourced our worms from a local worm farm called Ice Trees Farm, and they were £25 per kilo.
Charles Darwin once said, "A worm is more powerful than an African elephant, and that they are more valuable to society than a cow."
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to our presentation. We have created 4 little wormeries for you to take home to be your very own little ecosystems. This can then transpire to be whatever you wish it to be. Thank you very much. And we welcome any questions.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you. Lovely, thank you.
Thank you. Firstly, from me, fantastic presentation.
Yes, absolutely.
What I would say is, you clear that you've rehearsed that there. Even the use of humour throughout, it was well
I thought
tied
you'd
in.
be ready for a laugh.
Fantastic. So,
9 or 10 times today.
and then, now I'm going to go and ask you questions about cost and resale and those are sorts of things. So you've given a little bit of thought, and you've obviously talked us through, you know, the cost for the worms per kilo, the pallets, the perspex and things. So what would you be looking at from a retail price point of view when you're starting to sell your wormeries?
Well, the selling the wormeries would be a social business idea. We are looking to sell it to also put back to the community, and we are offering workshops for schools through the STEM Ambassadors program to help benefit the schools to get that green flag that they're all fighting for, especially the primary schools. The STEM Ambassadors program would also help us with that. They will both insure us, pay for our accommodation, well, not accommodation, like our travel, and we would get the children involved in helping build the wormery, maybe even, you know, looking for worms themselves in their school yards, and, you know, explaining how do worms work, what did they do, how did they benefit us, and why is this important?
Just following on from what Nicholas said, what this is all about the experience in which that we can give to children and young people. We want to create these fun, memorable moments which they can take with them for the rest of their lives, grow up and spread the word about recycling. What you see in front of you, as we said, they are custom built flat pack wormeries, so they do vary in size and in cost. This model right in front of you was around a full day's work and costs around £100 to begin with. That's our starting point.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, love it. You know, my wee lad's 6, so he would be all into that. And I know he's come home, you know, find worms today in the school and whatever else.
Yeah.
So, no, I totally get the concept. It's fantastic. The costs are, as you said, about £100 roughly. The educational bit, I think, is really important, and you can tie them together. Can you talk to me a bit more about your thoughts, your plans for making this sort of B2C, you know, consumer available?
Currently at the present moment in time, as we said, Belfast City Council is our biggest competitor. They operate within that Belfast City Council market. However, there is the other 10 markets in which the other 10 councils, we would be looking to start within the Newry Mourne and Down Council, primarily to get it into schools, to educate and inspire. Firstly, I think we could try and push it within the colleges itself. 2019 was the last time SERC enrolled in the green flag to try to get their green eco flag. And so I think we could build it initially within the SERCs, create a market and promotion behind it, then launch it to schools within the County Down sector.
And the idea then would be essentially to replicate the model that Belfast City Council are using? Yeah. Okay. And
Sorry.
Sorry, I know you was the last one. Sorry, was if I wanted to buy one myself, then what are your thoughts there?
Depends what size. This size would be about £100.
So you would custom, you almost have like a
Custom
bespoke
made.
build.
You can
basically.
have them pretty much shape, size. Like you can have them made out of different materials.
Okay.
Like, that's we'll actually make them out of other materials.
So
whatever's
for
handy, reusable.
talk's sake, like I live in an apartment, I don't have a garden. You can
Well-
make like almost like a wee.
Well, what you would want for that would be like a wormery that would catch the castings and also catch the worm tea. So it'd be mainly made out of PVC or a plastic, because you don't want any seepages.
Yeah.
And then you'd be able to take all the byproducts and use them whatever way you want. You could sell them, you could give them
Do
away to
whatever.
people or whatever.
Okay,
The
cool.
wormeries would be made depending on the need of the person who is buying. So, as you say in an apartment, we wouldn't make a worm with an open bottom like the one we have at Newcastle campus. We would make one with a closed bottom that would catch the worm tea and the castings, and would also alleviate any possibilities of smell.
We wouldn't want your apartment getting dirty now with the no
Was
bottom
there-
on it.
There's- you also need a worm tea, you take it as
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
juice.
Worm tea's the juice, and it is like
Right.
a miracle grow. You water it down and feed it to your plants.
Worm tea.
With the
Right.
castings and all, you can just keep it in, and the worm tea stays in it, and it's all just one product then.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Have you thought like beyond schools and even looking at either some, you know, wildlife charities and things to really promote that? Or businesses even, you know, because I know like a lot of businesses are wanting to be
Like
you know,
this would be
carbon
good
neutral.
for gardening or things like that there, or any of those flower places, because you've also got a constant supply of compost coming in. You don't have to be buying off wholesalers, things like that there.
Like you think we have these huge landfill sites, we have huge like solar areas, wind farms. You imagine landfill sites turned into these huge biodegradable compost factories, or these huge plants in which all the waste goes to, gets broken down, then put into these wormeries, then put back into the environment as well. So on a grander scale, I think that could be something further down the line.
Although, back on the question you did ask, through the STEM Ambassadors Programme, we could theoretically, you know, reach out to these wildlife companies, maybe even the national parks like Tullymore or Castlewell in our immediate area, and bring this up. And you know, it is very, very realistic that it could happen, and that we could also get the funding, and the Castlewell or Tullymore or just the National Trust in general might be buzzing for this idea, because in those areas, particularly I imagine Murlock Beach and Tullymore Forest Park, where they have a massive litter problem, particularly stuff like coffee cups, as my example went, where just littering is all out of control. It takes them most of September cleaning up after the holidaymakers. So it's definitely something that would be on the table.
Have you thought of any other ways to be able to promote this message? Because obviously some of those facts I didn't even know, and if you get that out there, I know people will be like, wow, this could solve so many issues. Is there any other ways other than just the ambassador program?
We could advertise on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all these things that young people are using. You know, little facts, because people gravitate to those kind of things, these videos and stuff, telling people different facts about animals they didn't know. So people gravitate to that sort of stuff, which, you know, so using social networking as a catalyst, you know, it may not even cost us anything. It may cost us, we may have to pay for advertising. That would all be taken into account when all is said and done, but at this moment in time we're not 100%.
Following on from that point, I think what we could also do is we could organise free tasters sessions for schools and for communities to experience this firsthand, so they themselves can get these fun, memorable experiences. So it's just a little taste of what they could get, and then that could then transpire into the word of mouth being spread, and we could get into a school or into a local community centre and so on.
Great.
I'm kind of thinking about the fact that you have your worms contained, and there must come a point where you have too many.
Yes, worms will double in size. Their colony will double in size every 60 days.
Okay.
So once you have too many worms, then you're going to need to relocate some of them somewhere. So you just put them into your own garden, you give them away to someone else. Like, there's loads of things that you can do.
For this one.
There's absolutely a demand for worms out there.
Sell them to fishermen.
We visited the ash trees farm, and the farmer, very lovely man, he was telling us about how there was a demand and people are buying these. They're very interested. Although it's not very well advertised, there's definitely interest, you know. this farm being at it for 16 years, a worm farm, and
He doesn't sell to wholesalers at all. It's all
just public. Just from word of mouth. So
He seems to be doing all right.
Yeah, and just touching on that again. So your very own little wormy that you have there. So we have included some worms in there as well. However, in there also is worm eggs.
Yes, there'll be.
When they
there'll be
hatch,
worm
it's a
egg.
minimum of 5. So after 60 days, you could have 10, 15 worms. Then you will have to scale this. So you could put it in your backyard. You could gift them to your next door neighbour, and so on. You could create your own little party
If
bags.
looking through it and you happen to find a wee green, like a wee green ball, clearish kind of ball,
That's the
that
egg.
is an egg sac.
Okay. And then the other point, or the other thing that was sort of coming to my mind was, have you thought about the life cycle of this product? So, like, how long is this going to actually last for? You know, when will I have to replace my worm
wood
house?
A wormery like this with untreated timber, you're probably talking 10 years.
Mhm.
With treated timber or painted, you're probably talking 20, 25 years.
Okay.
And then if it does biodegrade, this all biodegrades apart from the plastic, and the
Mhm.
screws will probably rust away before the wood does.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, great.
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
next group here is self-heating meals, and these are science students from Lisburn. So we have Christopher, Alex, Cara and Morgan. So take it away.
Okay, so my name is Cara. I would be the business manager of our group. This is Chris. He is our chief analyst. And those two over there are Alex and Morgan. They would be our lab researchers. Our group decided to make a quick and efficient, just self-heating meal. Alex and Morgan have set up an experiment for you just to demonstrate how our product would work. It is, of course, on a much lower scale. So if you want to take that away.
Okay, in these two bowling tubes here, there's tomato soup and sodium carbonate.
In the bowling tube with the sodium carbonate, this is where the reaction is going to take place.
It is an exothermic reaction.
This means that heat energy will be given off and will heat up the tomato soup.
Morgan is now going to take the temperature of the tomato soup.
The starting temperature of the soup is 21 degrees.
She is now going to wrap both boiling tubes in tin foil.
This is used as an insulator.
She has now just added distilled water to the sodium carbonate to start the reaction.
We're now going to pass it over to Cara and Chris, while me and Alex keep a close eye on the temperature increase.
Next slide. Next slide, please. Oh,
No,
sorry,
the one before.
Sorry.
After that.
Oh, it's okay. We'll do this one first. Sorry. So on this. Oh, sorry. No. So on this side here, you can see just some examples of already self-heating meals that have already been produced by other companies. This is what we've taken our inspiration off. And the next slide, please.
As you can see, this is our results table, and this is what eventually led us to finding out that sodium carbonate plus water was the best reaction. We found this out because this gave us the highest temperature increase. Next slide.
So this is our conclusion, and this basically just includes what changes our group could make, such as different chemicals, which would give us a better temperature increase. You can also look at the image, which is a close-up image of our thermometer from our first experiment, which shows an increase of temperature. This told us that this product could work better when improved and perfected. And if you would like to take a wee look over here and on the last slide of your wee booklets, or last page of your wee booklets, this is our product design. We did try to translate our product components best into our experiment. So our aluminium foil bag is represented by our tin foil, and our two pouches, which would be in the product, is represented by our boiling tubes of tomato soup and sodium carbonate. Just so you are aware, you must fill up the bag of sodium carbonate with water yourselves, and it is resealable, and then you must put it in the bag again.
On to Morgan and Alex for the final temperature.
The starting temperature was 21 degrees and has now went up to 26 degrees. This means that there was a temperature increase of 5 degrees. This is obviously done on a much smaller scale as just a quick and easy way to allow you to grasp the concept of our idea.
And then that's us, really. So, yeah.
Well done, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. One thought I have is, you've obviously got the concept, you've demonstrated the concept works. What would you see as the target market being for the actual application of this?
So we do have 3 target markets. It is one for the outdoor industry, camping. Just people can go buy them. You can take them away with you, and instead of having a cold sandwich when you're out camping, you can actually have a nice hot meal. And then the other one would be actually for homeless people. We would give these out for free because homeless people deserve to have a hot meal at least once a day as well. And it's really cheap, so we can just be able to give this out for them, and they can actually enjoy a hot meal while outside, especially when it's cold. Like, a hot meal would be good for them. And then for the emergency services, like the just first responders, they can have this in their car, and they work awful hours, and they never know when they're going to get home to have a hot meal and be able to enjoy food. So they can just quickly make this up, pour some water in, and then that's a hot meal on the go, and they can enjoy it. And yeah, it's one of those are probably the 3 main audiences we would try and target these 2.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great idea. Have you thought about the cost of this product?
Yes, it's actually really cheap. So it is for example, the soup, it was only like 90 something p from B&M's, but obviously would get a much larger scale. But the most of the cost would probably go to the packaging. So we'd hope to probably £5 or the most, like the £5 for the most, because we do want to be able to give this to homeless people so they can also enjoy a hot meal.
And just with the sodium bicarbonate, isn't that what it is? Is there any risks of that, say, if anything else were to get into it, or?
No, it's completely edible. We had this all checked out before we even thought of
It's
this.
basically like Play-Doh. Don't eat it, but if you want to.
But if you did, yeah.
You're not going to, it won't kill you.
Is there any environmental impact on this with this chemical reaction?
No, because it's all, other than the packaging, it'll like be mostly biodegradable. So the sodium carbonate dissolves into water, and the soup is just made out of obviously
just pour it down the
tomatoes,
drain.
and it'll probably wash away with rain, and the packaging is mostly made out of paper anyway. So
Yeah, other than the foil
other
bag,
than the foil
obviously.
bag.
Okay. And does it create any like gases or anything like that?
No. Okay. It's all pretty safe.
Okay.
What sets us apart from the current offerings out there?
Ours is a whole lot more cheaper. If you go online to search for, say, for instance, something similar to our product, a military MRE, it's about £30 to £40 for one of them.
Okay.
And in all reality, it's just boiled. This is actually cooked, so it means that it's a lot higher quality.
Okay.
And we would also like to partner up with maybe the hospitality industry, so we could actually, instead of a cheap tin from B&M's, we could actually make really like nice meals that can be had up and enjoyed. So we would like to partner up, but right now it's
So
just
with
the science side.
Okay, yeah. So like with like a grey kitchen or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could actually make really nice meals, like, I don't know, what's my favorite meal? Spaghetti or macaroni and cheese, something like that. They could, instead of using soup, they could have that.
So the plan would be then to expand the range of.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
And see, in regards to raising the temperature to a point where it's what you would be considering warm to eat, have you given any consideration to the volume of chemical that would be required to generate that heat differential?
It wouldn't be all that much.
It actually wouldn't, but see, the other thing is, this sodium carbonate is really used just as this is what we were able to access to show you how it would work. But there are other chemicals that are also still safe to eat. We've thought about this and we've researched this, and it would heat it up better. It would heat it up higher, and but you would have to wait about 10 minutes for it to heat up. But that's not much of an issue. So we would try to use other chemicals, and one of the ones we actually researched was a magnesium and iron alloy with salt and water, and you just add the water in. It's already the magnesium, iron alloy and the salt are already in the bag, and it will heat it up within 10 to 15 minutes, and it will be acceptable to eat. It should be enjoyable from the research we have done. So
Thank you.
Can you guarantee, like, is there any room for error in case, say, it doesn't, like, you might get a bad batch of chemicals and it doesn't work, and then just if it doesn't work and somebody eats it, is there a risk then of them becoming unwell or getting food poisoning?
With something like this, you have to test a good percentage of most of the batch. So if you catch a bad batch in production, then
we probably wouldn't send it out, yeah.
It probably wouldn't get sent out.
And also we would try do food, so like things with maybe not chicken in it, so if it wasn't cooked entirely the way, well, everything's already going to be made. It's already going to be made, like it's just more heating it up to an edible standard. But we just try to not include too many things that would make someone sick if they were to eat it cold. Just, it's because I know food poisoning is awful, so wouldn't want to do that to anyone else.
What's it called?
A self-heating meal. We haven't actually thought of a name, but we do have a logo you can see there.
Yeah.
And our temporary company name is just all of our initials because we really had no idea what to call it, if I'm honest. So it's a CAM for now. A can with 2 C's.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
He's okay? Yeah? Make sure everyone's back. There you go. So yes, the next group up, last but not least, we've got Katrina and Maisa from Buy It, Cook It and Eat It, and they're catering students from Bangor. So best luck and take it away.
Thank you. So our project is called Buy It, Cook It, Eat It. And we have some samples for you to try. So one of them is a spiced pita bread with mince, and one of them is a steak sandwich. So does anyone have preferences about pickles and sauces? Or do you want all of it or none of it? All of it? Okay. So
okay, my one is the steak sandwich. It have two sauce. It have a garlic pepper mayo and a barbecue sauce. Do you want to choose which one you want?
I'll go barbecue just for something.
Okay.
We realise snacks are very important during presentations. Couldn't expect you to listen without a snack, you know. Are you done?
Yes, I am. This is barbecue one.
Who's barbecue? Do you want to grab napkins as well? Thank you. Where's the napkin?
Lovely, thank you.
Just have only one.
Oh, okay.
One napkin.
Don't know
here.
where the rest went. Oh well.
Yeah, it's maybe up there.
I'll have to make a mess. Okay, I don't have that stands. Okay, and we're starting our presentation now. Yeah, so ours was a Buy It, Cook It, Eat It stall at Portavogie. I'm Katrina, that's Maisha. Next slide, please. So, I don't know if you knew about the Portavogie Town Turf event. Yeah, so just a great big local festival celebrating local produce, kind of a family event. And we got to meet lots of celebrity guest chefs to see who'd win the Great Peninsula menu. So for our challenge for this project, we had to create a dish that was suitable to sell to the public at the Town Turf, something on theme. So we decided to go something a bit different with Buy It, Cook It, Eat It. Next slide. It sounds a bit complicated, you know, but so basically the idea is that the customer buys their own meat straight from Curry's, who we're partnering with. So they buy themselves either some steak, which you have in your steak sandwich, or they buy themselves some beef mince, and we make them this lovely Middle Eastern spice beef pita. So then they bring it to us, we cook their food for them, and then they eat it. So they get a great price for their food, and it makes a good profit, but still keeps our costs quite low. Next slide. So our target market was basically Portavogie public, everyone there who attended the festival on the day. And we chose these dishes to prepare because they highlight the concept of the festival as supporting local and buying fresh. And then obviously our collaboration with Curry's, a very high quality local butcher across Northern Ireland. And this collaboration is beneficial to the local area as it brings money in to the area, and we also wanted to inspire people with how they could cook new recipes using very simple sort of cut of meat. And then there's a good choice of sauces and toppings to go with it, hopefully to suit every taste, so when someone comes up, they know there's going to be something that they like. Next slide. And we did up our costing as well. As you can see, it costs us almost nothing to make it, but we sell each product for £3. So we make a really good profit from it for quite a low price. Next slide.
Okay, for the success, you can see here is 7,000 people attend. Yeah, we have the thing that scans, so we know how many people attend to the thing. Food, we have a feedback from people, customer and Corey themselves that the food was excellent. The customer, and they were saying that they would want to do it again as a corroboration to do it. We have organized, prepared before the date, everything was going smoothly, and we did really good, nice, and serving people and giving food at the same quality and got it right. Next slide, please. This is the feedback that they give. So people good and like it. Next slide, please. For what next, we talked to Corey and they giving feedback. They say they want to do it again. And we was thinking, if next time we maybe do another cut of meat or do it maybe farmer market or even a fish one. The collaboration that we did, the waste was so low, and also any meat of cut of meat that left, Corey can also sell it again in the butcher, so no waste. And as you can see, the cost of that we do was so low, so we are win-win. So customer is happy, we happy, and Corey was happy. And we was thinking, because SERC don't only do for the food one, but we also do drinks. So we was thinking doing like a meal package that have drinks and food and maybe side too, because some customer was asking, oh, can I have any drinks outside? But also we was having drinks besides that, so we pointed to them. But we was thinking maybe it's easier if we can do a meal pack and we can bring more customer to us to buy more things. And because of more people buying, we are advertising our own SERC community that we are doing. So maybe because we're doing for events, sometimes like this one is Portavogie, and then we maybe for next one. So people who go attend to the festival can recognize that, oh, we did the food at the festival the one before, and this was so good. So we are spreading people to know how good we are at doing it. Next slide, please. For improvement that we could do is because of how far it is, on the day, customer have a little bit of difficulty to walk across to the butcher was a little bit far, and we was here. So we was thinking about doing a big sign so people would not have any any confusion about, oh, is this the concept, how it is. So we would give a big sign of buy it, so they will, oh, I go straight there and come back to cook it over here and straight here. And this is my maybe changing placement if we could talk before, like this. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
I think it's a fantastic concept, and I think you've nailed it in your last slide there. We were saying that, that customer journey, if you want to call it that, from buying the meat, taking it to you guys to cook. It obviously makes sense when you're together. Your supplier, whether it be a butcher for meat or whatever else. Have you looked at other relationships outside of, say, Corey's? So, Corey's local butcher, great.
Yeah,
but
we was thinking about the farmer market and the fish one. If next time we can do it. So if we can highlight the product they have by cooking it, so people can see, oh, this is an idea that they can use, the produce that farmer have, so we can help the local. This is the main thing that we try to do.
Okay, and then the next thing I would like a added value. So I'm a customer. I come up, I buy my meat or protein or whatever, bring it to you guys, just cook it. If you start maybe doing wee recipe cards, because you said those simple recipes which are fun to use, whatever else, to sort of promote that. Once I'm walking away, yes, I've had lovely food, it's great, but now I've got the wee recipe that you just made. You could develop that as a concept, really. I think you could add that on to it as well, because I think that would be really good. But I think it's a great idea, and I haven't tried this yet, but it looks delicious. So
thank you.
I can vouch this delicious.
Good. Yeah, good.
I have sampled it. I haven't been brave enough to try and eat it in its entirety. I'll wait till the cameras are off before I try that bit, but I can guarantee it's absolutely delicious. And one thought I had just follows on from what Robert was saying there. Maybe tying it into the demo area as well. You have the recipe card, but then having the short demo area, so you're nearly getting local produce being shown how to cook it, and then having the takeaway to take with you. So it's that whole journey again, and it's the fact that you had mentioned they're advertising the SERC community. That's fantastic. So well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a great model. As somebody that's involved with these events as well, what we hear quite often from even local restaurants is they can't sustain having the restaurant open and being at the event at the same time, because they simply don't have the resources to do that. So you're solving a problem for local businesses by providing the people that can actually do. So using the restaurant's recipes and the products, whatever it might be, you're providing that opportunity for businesses to be able to have a presence at these public events that they may not usually. So that's a really interesting model that I think your enterprise could be based around. So I suppose it's maybe applying some thought to how you can reproduce that and scale it as well. But it's a really interesting solution to a problem there.
I just have a question. Right, it's more clarity. Do Corey's is there any incentive for the customer to make sure they're not just buying the food and going home and not coming to yourselves to cook it? Because that was a really great idea to have then, if it was encourage them to go to learn how to make these new recipes and things like that. But do Corey's on the day or anything, did they have any kind of incentive to push customers to come to yourselves?
Yeah, because we have do the collaboration with Corey's, so the meat was for the dishes itself.
Okay.
So when they selling it, they will sell it. Oh yes, you can buy the meat and go cook it over there. And because where I'm the stand of the stall, people will come to our stall first, so we can introduce them that, oh, you need to go buy the meat, or explain the concept before, and they come back and they just And also, some people did buy the meat and like, oh, I will take some and then cook it at home as well.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think you'll agree with me that they did themselves and their tutors really, really proud. We're going to take a quick 15-minute break now while the judges deliberate their results, and we'll welcome everyone back in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, good. You've all done excellent today, so congratulations on that front. Just before I hand over to the judges here, I just want to thank all our sponsors who, without them, you know, they've provided us a lot of support throughout the Enterprise fortnight. So, yeah, they're all up on the board here. So just thank you to everyone who's chipped in and sponsored throughout the 2 weeks. And then slide. We're having some technical difficulties. There we go. So we had some technical difficulties earlier. So this was a GIF designed by Niamh Mallon, and it's our Director of Curriculum, Dr. Michael Malone. So he's not with us today, but hopefully he gets a wee laugh when he watches this later. So yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to the judges now, who's going to reveal the winners and the runners-up. So without further ado.
Yes, I would like to thank everybody who has participated today. I know it takes a lot of courage to come up here and present to us, and a lot of you have only had 2 weeks, which is absolutely incredible. So we want to note that everybody has done absolutely amazing, and they still should continue with their ideas as well.
Yeah, exactly. So give yourselves a clap, guys. Me first, is it? Yeah. Okay, right. Sorry. So, yes, no, this one I thought was really, really good. So third place really is buy it, cook it, eat it. So I just wanted to say the concept you have is fantastic. Really, really good, really scalable. The key to it will be like the partnerships you're going to form, you know, with potential butchers, suppliers, things like that. But the idea, it's innovative. You know, you're taking a sort of a concept, making it your own. Loved it. So congratulations. Well done.
Folks, so if that group want to come up and we can get a wee photo, that would be great.
Yeah, that's this one. Thank you.
We shimmy around.
Do
you want to go all in the middle? We're supposed to get in here.
So the second place, we thought that this product showed a lot of market knowledge with some very clear information and ideas around how they would bring this product to the market. It was a very unique product and it surprised us with actually what it looks like. It wasn't what we expected. And it was very well considered in terms of its environmental impact and how they would use that through the whole kind of product process through to packaging and getting it to their customers. So Hallowed Ground is second place.
Okay, folks, it comes to me to have the honour of announcing the winner of our PBL Expo for this year. And just to echo what the others have said before me, each and every one of the projects that have been presented today have been absolutely fantastic in their own unique way. There's been such a diverse range of different projects. It made the judging process extremely difficult. To say that that there wasn't much between each of the projects in terms of how we scored and the things we looked at would be an understatement. But as a group of judges, what we were looking for is the project that we felt was ready to go now, the one that had the scalability, and also we looked at, from a presentation point of view, how that there came across. And I'm delighted to announce that the winner is Red Wrigglers Wormery. Yes! You're welcome. Well done. You're welcome. Well done.
Our leader is currently just screaming. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Folks, so thank you so much. That's a wrap for our Enterprise Expos. So massive thanks to all our students that have taken place here today, got involved, everybody that's reached the final. You should give yourself an extra round of applause. You've been amazing in terms of the presentations that you've been able to do. In terms of our judges, thank you so much to all the Dragons for taking the time out for this session. I'm sure it was tough enough, but we really appreciate the time that you've given us here. It's been absolutely brilliant having you guys, giving these young people such a boost so early in the year, and of course to have so many students that have got involved right across all our campuses. 600 plus projects, and as you can imagine, whittling that down to 9. It was, a really, really difficult job. So, a massive congratulations to everybody that's been taking part, and congratulations to those folks that have placed here today. But again, I just want to re-emphasize just the journey shouldn't stop here today. You guys have got brilliant ideas, you've got brilliant ambitions, and here at the Enterprise team, we want to make sure that you guys can make your ideas a reality. So certainly reach out to us, and we'd love to support you. Virtual Entrepreneurs Club on Teams, or even just email gettheedge@SERC. We'd love to hear from you. Really extra special mention is for Kat McCord. We just thought we were just all blown away by her presentation. We thought she was amazing in terms of the T skills that we really promote here in the college. We think that she just did an amazing job. So Kat, if you want to come up and get a photo, it'd be great to have you up. Awesome, Kat. That's brilliant. Really well done. Absolutely super. So folks, that's us for today. Thank you so much for everybody getting involved. Hope you've enjoyed this experience. Hope you've enjoyed watching it on the live stream, and just keep your eyes peeled for the next event from the Enterprise team. Thanks so much.